That's what we want.
Can you take in like a non-instrument and create like nice sounding things out of it? I would consider that playing it. Yeah, I mean, making an ugly sound is still playing it. What I'm doing with these things that are not instruments are what you would do with something that is not originally an instrument but may become an instrument. So I'm thinking, can I actually create a new instrument out of some of these crazy sounds? I think we'll be able to come up with a pretty cool sounding synth or like layer of sound in the bottom that'll carry a lot of the film really nicely.
Come here, son of a bitch! I'll fucking cut your fucking neck off! I'll fucking kill you!
So Time Box is a short film, and I'm doing the music for it. If you can call it music, we'll see what comes out of the other side, because it's pretty experimental. So Time Box, for me, when I watched it, it really is, it's disturbing. I mean, it's a disturbing film, because I think it shows you really terrible things, but it makes you think about what will a person do given a certain circumstance. You know, what are our most brutal, animalistic kind of ways of acting, you know? Like if you're given a certain possibility, you know, would you hunt another person?
Well, that's fucking terrifying.
With Time Box, instead of approaching it in musical themes or writing melodies, I thought that it would be much more interesting to create motifs that came out of things that were as ugly as the ideas that were presented by the film itself.
Just collecting some power tools for some power tool madness. All right, let's see what else we can find that might be of interest here.
So how do you find that thing? I mean, for me, I thought, what are ugly sounds? What could make ugly sounds? That's really the genesis of the whole thing. So, you know, scraping metal, power tools. Playing instruments in ways they're not meant to be played necessarily. Bowing metal, we're bowing a piano, we're gonna hit things. We're gonna abuse instruments in all sorts of ways.
Hammer drill? Why not? All right, so I think the first thing we're gonna try is get some cool resonances out of some metal pieces by using a violin bow here, which is nice and rosined up. And I'm going to rosin it a bit more here, just so it really sticks when it rides across the surface of the metal. So what happens basically is as you drag this bow across the surface of the metal, you're going to get vibration starting to happen as it sort of skips across the surface. And then sometimes you get some really cool effects that way. All right, that sounds cool. So let's, I'm gonna try and capture that. So this is metal blocks bowed. Take one.
I'm using theories of why things resonate. I'm using theories of why things make sound. So, you know, if you take a bow, like a violin bow, and you rub it across the edge of a metal container, eventually the metal will vibrate at a certain frequency and it'll create a tone. It could be a nice pure sine-like tone, or it could be a horrible, ugly screeching, and both are kind of useful in their own way.
Just running it back here to see how it sounds. I think what I want to do is get another take of that just a little bit closer in. Okay, same metal box, take 2, a little bit closer up this time.
So in this case, in the case of Time Box, it really is about just kind of letting it rip and having some fun with some stuff, having some ideas ahead of time, and then just doing tons of experiments and screwing around and messing up and having lots of failed experiments.
That one doesn't want to go. All right. Failed experiment number 1.
And then hoping at some point something cool is going to come out of that. And in the end, you really don't know until you've laid it all out and started placing things to picture and going, okay, there's an in here, or this is that key thing that fits and starts to work.
Failed experiment number 56. There you go. Okay, this is wobbly saw, take 1. Let's get out the power tools. Nasty.
What are you trying to do? Find something to
Yeah, I'm just looking for something to
saw?
saw that's not gonna kill me because there's nails in it. All right. I actually really fucking hate using this saw.
Why?
Because it scares the shit out of me, frankly. It's like Susanna's dad. Like, look, this is a perfectly fine saw, and he like fucked with all this shit, put this fucking thing up and ripped this out, just because he wanted to like fucking didn't like the safety features, and now like, it always kind of like.
Oh, so there's no guard on it.
There's no guard, and it catches because it's sort of warped. But then because it's like he's fucked with all the tools of it, so it like always comes a little off center, and so when you're sawing, it'll catch and blow back, which is the reason why it scares the shit out of me. All right, safety first, kids. Let's see here. Here's circular saw just on its own. Take 1. All right, here we go. So here's sawing some wood. Take 1. Fucking beast away. What's next? How about hammer drill? This ought to make an ugly sound. Oh, yeah. That's going to be good.
So when you listen to something like that, like what are you hearing? Because to me it just sounds like, you know,
just
like
a noise?
fucking hammer drill, yeah.
So, I mean, there's a couple of things. It's just sort of like if it's got a nice resonance or it has a tone, like if it has an even tone at certain like you rev it up to the full and it continuously sort of has something stable, you can build an instrument out of that. Like you can take it and it'll import into a sampler and sort of automatically sort of put it within a certain frequency and you can play it like an instrument. I'll show you that later. And then I'm just thinking about layers and sounds and stuff, and I'm sort of picturing some of the things in the film. That revving up to that high pitch, you know, you can use that as a tension building device. Stretch it, you know, compress it, pitch it way down and just have it a low frequency that's slowly coming up. So, yeah, this is stuff like that. If it's an interesting sound and it's got lots of different clicks and whirs and all sorts of interesting stuff going on inside it, you know, it's going to be lots of fun to sort of play around with that. Whoa, reciprocating saw. All right, let's get some rhythmic stuff going, I think. It's the cheapest gong you can ever have. But I bet if we downpitch that, it'll sound really cool.
Where'd you find all this shit?
These are actually old camping, like bear bells from when you go camping. You don't want bears to eat you, so apparently bears are terrified of bells. I don't know. Some of my dad's old stuff. A lot of this shit is just been lying around my basement. I mean, you know, it's junk. It's just junk percussion. And let's go start taking the piano apart and making some cool sounds with the piano.
What's the problem?
Well, the drill makes more noise than the piano does. That's no good. I want the piano to make the most amount of noise. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna bother taking the action out. So let's just put the damper on here. So it's got the sustain pedal down sort of permanently, so then we can play these nice strings all on their own. All right, so we got our monofilament all rosined up, which means it's nice and tacky now and should really stick to the strings. So now we can sort of thread it through. Oh, here's a problem I didn't anticipate. Oops. I think I'm going to open up the bottom of the piano because I don't want that noise of the filament. I should take this out too and then mic it from the bottom. Like so. All right, I think we're recording here. Yep. There were a couple of great moments there where the sounds were really cool because it just did things I was surprised by. I thought the filament, when I was bowing the piano, would be very smooth and would just make a big rong, but instead it made it kind of sound. So it's just, you know, you kind of roll with that. So I started out playing in bands originally. So in the mid-90s, I started playing in rock bands while I was in art school, actually, because I intended to be an illustrator out of school. So that lasted until the early 2000s. We were sort of moving around Canada, playing in different places, and eventually it broke up, like all good bands do. And I was sort of left thinking, what am I doing with myself? And it took a while, but after some sort of self-reflection and some reading and looking into different things, I came upon the amazing realization that, like, the two big things, visual media and music, that I really loved were actually combined in this vocation called screen scoring.
So I compose music for film and television primarily, which covers everything from factual series, sports stuff, to feature films. I really like working on dramas, thrillers, mysteries, sci-fi, fantasy. Those are the sort of the big ones. A good story well told is sort of a pleasure to work on no matter what it is. I think of myself as a filmmaker first, and scoring a film is really particular, and that's really what I think I'm built to do. I don't consider it a pure art. It's more of an art. It's more of a craftsman kind of thing. But there are artistic aspects to it because I will go within the sandbox that's created by somebody else. There are lots of moments to play pretty freely within that, and to do things that are surprising, that are really part of your own vision and your own signature, your own sound, or something that really just comes from someplace deep within you.
So the EBow is a little electronic device, usually used on electric guitars, and you just put it over top of the strings, and it creates a magnetic frequency that vibrates the string, and you get these long sustained tones. And I have seen this used on pianos. I don't know how well it's going to work, but we're going to give it a try. Suspense is killing me. We'll call that failed experiment number 128.
Didn't work at all?
Nope. I mean, there's got to be a way to do it. I've seen people do it, but I don't know the secret. You know, it's kind of funny about all the stuff that we've been doing today. I've never actually tried this stuff. Actually, it's all theory. It's supposed to work in theory, so I'm always thinking, it's not going to sound like anything. It'll be a big embarrassment. I told Tate I could do all these cool sounding things, and what I would normally do is watch the film, get a sense of the characters and the themes and everything else, and then I would sit down at the keyboard or with the guitar or whatever and sort of try to play around until I get a sense of what material works, harmonic, progressions, melodies, traditional stuff like that, until something resonates with the characters. What we're doing with Timebox is a little different, so instead of worrying about the structures so much and worrying about any kind of harmonic progressions or melody, because that's really out the window. We're doing more of an experiment, a big extended experiment, where I'm getting a sense of the tone of the film, and then I'm thinking about all the different weird sounds we could make with things that aren't instruments, and collecting those sounds into a big catalog of stuff. Hopefully out of that you get something that sounds a certain way and is that spark of inspiration that you then take to start sculpting something slowly and then placing that up against the picture and seeing how it works. So it's a little bit of a different process to get to the same point. Once all the sounds are collected, the real challenge becomes, how does this become a cohesive score, right? You've got a lot of elements, you've got a lot of building blocks, but you haven't really you've just sort of had a lot of fun playing in the playground, but you haven't really worried too much about the structure.
what I have to do now is just sort of filter through all the stuff that we've collected. And I'm looking for that little bit of magic where it kind of just I go, oh, that's it. And then I think what's going to happen is I'm going to go, okay, let's try this over this part. And then I'm going to get some other kind of, it's just really about making these, a very free form kind of thing. You have to just sort of make these associations and go, oh, this sound here.
Check this out. This is gonna be sick. That's an evil sound, right?
Yeah, it's fucking terrifying.
That's not even, that was unintentional. That's just me adjusting the microphone on the stand. Imagine that over the landscape in the beginning of the film. Something like that would be cool, huh? Like that. There's kind of something eerie and evil about it. It's got a neat tone. It's backwards.
What are you doing now?
Just sort of scrubbing through just to see what we got. It's the piano bow. I don't know, something kind of cool happened there with the two tone. One of those moments of magic here I was looking for. Creepy. And when you put that against picture, let's do an experiment. I'll try and make a synth out of that. Or like something playable out of that. That's something cool. That seems to be the sweet spot right there, just sort of in this area.
What's that?
That is one of the metal boxes being bowed, plus, believe it or not, the hammer saw, or the hammer drill. That's starting to sound like something too. I think I might actually put that just on its own. It's usually a bit of a slog at the beginning. You're sitting with an empty slate. You don't know what you're doing. You're struggling to come up with ideas and to just find anything that works. But man, when that clicks, when you get something that musically has some sort of a relationship to that what's on screen, it feels like you found, you know, a partner for someone who's been single. You're going, you guys work really great together, and you have this beautiful new thing that happens. And those moments are really exciting, especially when you have a scene you're struggling, and all of a sudden you discover that way in, and the way that the music is supposed to work, and it just creates something new. And that feeling is really exciting. That could be something. Pretty cool stuff in there already, man. I think we should break. All right, let's see how some of this stuff sounds to picture. So now I'm exporting all the individual sounds, sort of picking and choosing the ones I like the best, and just sort of keeping in mind what their use might be in any given scene. Yeah, I think that's a winner. That's also very useful. And I'm doing some experiments here where I'm pitch shifting some of this stuff, so. So I'll give you a sense of what that sounded like before. What we're going to do now is we're going to load up the actual film time box into my timeline, import it into the project file, and then I'm going to try importing some of these sounds and seeing how they play against picture.
And that's how we start.
That's how we know if we have anything. That's surprising. I like that. It doesn't sound as cute as what we had before, because that's this. It just doesn't have any of the attack, right? It doesn't have the percussive attack on it.
Yeah.
It just has all of the sustain that comes after the attack. That falling thing is what makes it so weird. It's like oscillating downwards.
Descent into hell.
Yeah, it's like. That doesn't make you feel like something's coming. That's the reciprocating saw winding up. What do we call that?
potentially very useful. I'm going to turn that into a synth.
Alright, it's been 13 days. I think I've been in the box 4 times now. I haven't seen either of us for at least 2 days. I haven't seen me for 5. And the last time I seen Tommy, there's fucking 3 of them. They might be working together, so. Alright, it's been 13 days.
There's a little start for it, right? Hugely imperfect in every way, but gives you an idea.
Yeah. Like, so what's next? Like, what do you do after this? Do you just kind of do this the whole way through, or like, what's sort of the next step?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll do a bunch of passes with this and sort of see what it feels like just working through each scene and the sounds and seeing what sort of really works. And then it's just a matter of really pulling things way out and putting, really sculpting the sounds and making sure something's in the foreground, midground, background, seeing how it works against picture, what it's sort of saying about the scene and the characters. Yeah. And then you just sort of go step by step, sculpting away.
Screen composing is it's an interesting one because it is. I mean, when you're doing the actual work, when you're just sitting down there and writing, yeah, it is absolutely solitary. So that's one of the weird parts about doing what I do, is that I'm actually a pretty social person. I like talking to people about ideas, and a lot of times you're just sort of sitting there wrestling with your own self-doubt and your own questions about how to move forward on a project. How to make a living as a screen composer, it's a tough question. I think the veterans that I talk to say now it's either you're at a very wide strip near the bottom making almost no money, and then there's nothing in between almost, and then there's a very tiny microscopic layer at the top. Why do what I do? I mean, I honestly have tried to walk away from doing music a couple of times and it just doesn't work. I keep coming back to it. Yeah, and I mean, it's just any opportunity I get to kind of do this stuff and really experiment, you just kind of jump at that. So where we're at right now with the score is all the materials are in, I've sort of sorted everything out, and really have scored pretty much the whole picture after I developed my sounds using the stuff that we collected. And yeah, we're getting close to the finish line. It was harder than I thought it would be, for sure. Mostly the scoring part of it, the actual getting down to the nitty-gritty of telling a story and actually making the sounds fit. And yeah, it was harder. So the things that ended up being really useful, first of all, the bowed metal, like some of the boxes in the bowed metal sounded really great. Just because they had that nice resonance, and they gave nice clean sort of tones that I knew I could put into a sampler and get sort of a playable instrument out of. So a lot of those really dark textures that come up on the score again and again are actually created with a layer of different things. One of them is the dark ambiences we got from the piano, so from bowing. And I just took those sound and I really stretched them out, so you get this really deep sort of low, dark, echoey kind of sound. And then that's layered in with what I call hissing glass, which is, I think, a bowed metal box. The hammer drill layered up. And then for that final thing, So that's the box sound that didn't quite make a note. But it does create a really neat kind of like resonant sound. So I'll just play this one section here. So that's a layer of three things. One of them called box long dry, which is basically that long dry scraping box. Plus the hissing glass, which I just described. And then finally, this stuff sounded really beautiful actually, because it's another bowed box, but it's a very pure tone that could actually be played in chords and melody. So if this is a traditional score, I would call that my string section. That would be sort of the string section sound. The percussive stuff always works, so we had some metals and stuff that I was doing percussive stuff. I knew that would be great for rhythmic beds and things like that. So again, it uses a lot of the same material that we heard before, so the dark bowed metals. And then of course, yeah, there's all the percussion, which is layers and layers of me playing different things. So that's two boxes played with brushes, mallets, and then the crowbar. And there's also the single crowbar hits ended up being really useful in reverse. Lead us into sections. And then the rest of it's just individual percussion parts that I played in. So that's the loop brush, the crowbar, and then the box with mallets. So this box mallet, I used in a different section where I took that material and retuned it and turned it into a really weird sounding loop. Every time I hear a percussive thing, I think, well, what if we did something weird with the notes, the sort of inherent overtones that are in that.
Roll again.
I think scoring took a little longer because I'm sort of inventing a new language for this film in a way, right? And it's in the past I've combined the sounds as a textural layer. And this time I really pushed myself to use only these sounds. Interestingly enough, although I didn't think of it in the beginning, or I didn't think it might be useful, the weirder textures that I knew we could stretch out and kind of make ambient beds out of, some of the sounds were great. Ooh, that was a sound I called Piano Monster. That's worth revisiting, right?
Yeah, tell me about Piano Monster.
Oh, actually, it's Piano Monster Mating Call. Oh, it sounds like that. That was one of the bowed piano notes, but I just did it really quickly and it sort of scraped along and it's just ugly. But put a bunch of reverb on that and throw it over a creepy scene. You know. Low sound for the box bow section. There's some really weird sound design elements. They're kind of creepy and horrible. There's something that, this is what I call scream verb. So that is, we were talking earlier about the microphone stand and how I was moving the microphone stand and didn't think I was actually capturing any good sound, but that rubber against metal resonating into the microphone through the stand ended up sounding like this. And that reverb tail ends up being something I use for something else, and I turned it into a rhythmic element. Some of the power tool sounds are great. And then that wonderful reciprocating saw, which just ended up being a fantastic device for building tension over time. My aim for this was really to do it in a pure way, to say what to me is the essence of this story, and how do I most purely tell that story in musical terms, using elements that I've made myself. It's handmade. It's a handcrafted thing, right? That was really the big thing for me, is just to have it say, this is all me.
We're rolling. You guys ready? Action.
We're all talking in our voice, like we're all saying something that we wanted to say, and we're doing it the way we wanted to do it. We're not trying to make something in a way that we think other people want to see it, right? This is just our crazy outing, and we're just gonna go for it.
You gotta go faster.
And to me, I think anytime you're doing that as an artist, that's the best way to work, because if you're gonna succeed on any terms, it may as well be on your own, because I think we really just threw everything at the wall and just went crazy, and you know, come what may, I'll be very happy and proud of this. Nasty.
Alright, it's been 13 days. I think I've been in the box 4 times now. I haven't seen either of us for at least 2 days. I haven't seen me for 5. And the last time I seen Tommy, there's fucking 3 of them. And they might be working together, so.
Well, that's fucking terrifying.
Why the fuck are you back?
So imagine I got a pretty fucking disturbing video message last week from myself. That's why I'm back. Now what have you been doing with that fucking time box? Nothing, eh? Look, when we found that thing and accidentally copied ourselves, the hunt was supposed to be a one-time thing to try and fix it, right? One copy dies, one goes free into the world. But let me guess. You kept going, didn't you?
Something like that.
God damn it. Most people discover a time machine, they Back to the Future that shit. Bet on the fucking Super Bowl. But you guys use it to fucking hunt each other?
Let's roll again.
Something happened when you went through it, didn't it? You got made wrong.
We made a fucking game, man.
Time travel's not a game, man. Didn't you see fucking Terminator? Goddamn that time box. Now I gotta come back here, fix this shit, and finish the game. Now where's the original Tommy, and how many fucking copies are out there? You started this game, but you don't finish it. Shouldn't have come back. You had a free life. Now you got none.